rekindled its fire.
No particular
And in
reason.
the hearts of the makers, an ember of hope was born. Hope for life, and for what lies beneath the earth.
I might, because unfortunately, well, okay, so some of those loading points are important, but like, actually, most of them really aren't. They just describe what you've done in the main game. They're not really that relevant. What do you mean? As far as, well, I would just assume that's because of them just being angels and demons, because they're the offspring of angels and demons. Nephilims in general are, I think, supposed to look different from each other, because angels and demons look vastly different from one another. Well, demons do. Angels, for some reason, are super special. Are we set up in this room? I just. Oh, nice. Hello, Mister. Hello, triples. I have to go to the Drench Fort. Oh boy. Where is the Drench Fort? Oh, it's over there. Wow, this looks a lot better in 1080p.
Well, get on with you then. Nobody ever found anything interesting to do just by standing around. Show me the way.
What is going on? Running into the wall like a loser. Seems my redemption damage is less than adequate. Hmm? But, you know, giving people the business. Trying not to run into anything. No. As far as like the descriptor I gave you? Well, no, that's not narration. If you want to see narration, I could learn to do that, but that would be I don't think anyone would enjoy that. Why is that not? That damage is. Oh, there we go. There we go. In what regard? My knowledge of Mortal Kombat is a little bit limited, but I did play a lot of MK9, decent bit of 10, and a lot of Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. So I'm like, I'm kind of. That was a game. You know what? I'm gonna try to. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. As if Marvel was the one that made multiverse stories. As far as cinema is concerned, I would agree with you on cinema. As far as media, I'm trying to remember because DC might have done it first, maybe, but I'm not sure about that one. I mean, comics have been a thing since the 50s, so that's why I'm saying like I'm not entirely sure because I don't want because it might be the case that DC did it first. Okay, yeah, so uh, I'm probably just going to do all the side content later because I can actually afford to do that. Unlike Darksiders 3, where I have to go and get a specific ending. Totally not upset about that. Yes, there is no ending. There's one ending to this game, and go get all the content later, and it does not matter. Oh my god. It changes certain dialogue with Lucifer that dictates what his plans are going to be. It also dictates what item you get at the end. Not killing Lord Halls, yes. Because he has different dialogue in each ending, and I think there's like 4 different endings. It is a little silly. They had not. Well, go ahead. And I was simply suggesting it might have been or could have been DC first because they've been doing their shtick since the 50s. I believe probably sometime in the 80s or 90s. Hmm. All I can say is that a lot of people didn't or were not receptive to certain things regarding the appearances of certain God of War characters being introduced. I'll say that much. He was. I mean, I know Thor. I know Thor was. I never actually saw the promotional material for Odin. Hmm. I guess I can go back and watch the trailers to see like what the difference was between the games. Like what was I being? No, I mean like how much of different like how much they promised within the trailers, how much they hyped it up, and then what it actually turned out to be. Expectation versus reality. I always that's one of the reasons I actually like only watching like one trailer and not all the other ones is because it's nice to see what a movie was actually shown to be, or movie or game or whatever, what is shown to be by the trailers, and then what it turns out to be. Oof. I think people expected something. I'm not in the right area. Oh, good. Yeah, comics is a line, but not DC and Marvel. DC and Marvel have not been around since 1987. Yeah, there are older ones that weren't as successful. Garfield's very old, actually. Oh yeah, that's how you do it. Um, so I think what I'm gonna do is that for collectibles and whatnot, I'm just gonna leave everything in the dungeons, and then when I come back to do side questing, I will just grab every single like optional item so that I can get all of the Book of the Dead pages. This way, I can get them all in one go, and I don't have to worry about like any more backtracking than necessary, and it will also allow me to basically speed run the dungeons. I'm not really going to have any problems with that. If I don't do any looting or exploring and just focus on the main objective, it takes a lot less time. Actually, I can just skip these guys. I don't need to fight them. They're losers. Knighted Slayer, when you say the worst Mortal Kombat character, what are you referring to in terms of like gameplay, design, or like character? Already left. What? Yes. Oh, Kyle, I understand that. Kyle, I figured out how to fix the 1080p resolution on my TV, so now we can have 1080p footage for all of Darksiders 2 and Darksiders 1, but not Darksiders 3. So if you end up nagging me about that, that's why.
Yes, I'm infamous for having a bitch about the quality.
I'm just saying, if you're wondering, like, man, why does your game have shitty
Okay,
quality, but mine has good quality?
I'll forgive you as long as you forgive me that sometimes I forget to turn the microphone off on my controller. So some of the footage that I'm gathering scans for may or may not have conversations
Echoes.
that we've had in them.
Oh, I'm just gonna hear like, hey, did you ever see this thing? That just shows up in the video.
No, because I sit my phone on my iPad like right next to the controller, so there's a good chance you just hear everything.
Oh yes. It would.
You literally can't consider who
You can't. You
I
can't. But
wouldn't even
people did.
consider- I wouldn't even consider a God of War clone because it plays completely differently.
You wouldn't, but people did.
If you said Dante's Inferno, okay, I could see it. Why? It plays completely differently. Yeah, it fucking does.
I would definitely say that it does. Special equipment and weapons you get are oh well, it's like an hour and a half removed from my bedtime. All right, let me shoot this thing. There we go.
Nap sounds good.
Wait, when did I really make it in that area in one shot? That doesn't seem right. I don't think I was that accurate. Well, I should be almost done with the drench fort. That's because it was more. Well, both of them were open world, but Darksiders 2 was more blatantly open world due to the Forge lands and the Kingdom of the Dead. And Darksiders Genesis is considered a Diablo clone. At which point you kind of have to ask yourself if there's just a genre that they can be a part of and people cannot consider them clones of other games. Especially when they do all of the things that their predecessors do better and aren't locked behind platforms or have silly like cost buying decisions involving their release. Just saying. It's a weird condition. You don't even give a shit about Legend of Zelda. The only reason you talk about it is because you have that weird manga. Which is like super situational. Oh, my apologies. How selfish of me. Good. I mean, just look at Game Dark Darksiders. They're definitely one of my favorite genres. I don't know if I would call them the best, though I have played. I've actually played a lot of different games from a lot of different genres. If not hack and slash, I would say the FPSs are probably my most played genre. Either that or side scrollers. Yeah, actually, well, I did play a lot of them when I was younger. What's also Zelda doesn't have like Zelda has a lot of I wouldn't say problems, but Zelda's combat is kind of a little bit bland from game to game. Not really a whole lot there. Breath of the Wild's probably heard people say it's an innovator. I'm just referring to general like the general Legend of Zeldas that I played. So like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Link to the Past. Um, Why do you gotta be like that? Where is the spawner? Where the hell is the spawner? Oh, there's not one in here. There's just a limited amount of enemies. Okay. No, you don't suck at Tekken. Tekken just sucks. Gotcha. Oh, sure. My mistake. This weapon is broken. How can it freeze, take enemies, and then crit? Well, it's called flip saw, actually. It is called flip saw. Oh, I suppose. I don't need that. That's trash. What is he saying? Words that I do not understand. Also, I believe I've opened up part of the Drench Fort. I would move faster, but as anyone who plays Darksiders knows, and Kyle can back me up on this, this is no place for a horse. Isn't that right, Kyle? I said, isn't that right, Kyle? No. Is that actually all the water I need? Maybe? You speak fluent Spanish, yes? Good enough Spanish, yes.
Are you really Mexican if you can't roll your R's?
Ours are difficult to roll. I mean, I have like a speech impediment when it comes to my R's. Well, I had a speech impediment as a child, involving my S's and C's. You can still technically tell if you listen for it, though. I'm able to control the airflow with respect to my tongue, so it's not as obvious.
Was that a question or a statement?
Hello, Wolfetti.
Another country level character?
Yeah, Kyle.
What, at this moment?
At this exact instant. Yes, he is playing God of War Ragnarok, though maybe not, perhaps, at this exact instant.
Yes. I am doing the good Lord's work and I'm going through and getting scans and my god, it's fucking damning.
Yes, it did.
And the God of War 1 and 2 novels. And Fallen Gods. And Ascension.
I can tell. This scythe is a little broken. I don't think you should be able to use like life steal freezing capabilities and then allow me to crit that much. Though technically, I think the critting is due to other stuff. However, that is still very silly. I'm gonna have to. Do I have?
Admit for the most part, I will admit for the most part to give it like a fair, honest like opinion on Ragnarok. The gameplay is still fucking trash. It's literally just ported over from 4, but I'm having a good time with the story, except for Ironwood. That was fucking boring and a waste of time. It felt like a side quest that was jammed into the main plot.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Wait. So have they just heard like me talking to like a non-existent voice the entire time? That's that's actually
But
great.
like, they've been hearing our answers, and it's just like,
And it was like, man, this sounds like a real conversation. Who are you talking to? I'm like, oh no, Zip's here. They're like, I don't hear him. Oh, because none of them said
Oh, that's
they
fucking
didn't hear him.
funny.
So none of them said, oh, I don't hear Zim. I'm like, oh, so they must hear Zim. They haven't stopped me yet.
I was literally there saying hi to everybody and everything, and no one. And I just assumed they were ignoring me like usual.
Everyone said hi to me, and I'm like, why haven't they said hi to Zim? Oh, it's probably just because like he's always here. And,
Like they never directly say hi to me, so I was just like, all right, they're saying hi to Mangler. It's fine. Oh, that's funny.
Maybe it's just because it's my stream tonight. Like,
You know, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Pimp Demon didn't respond to any of my comments, and he usually responds with, "Why aren't you working on the novel?" So I guess I should have seen that one coming.
why aren't you doing the Lord's work? Darksiders 2 playing.
Wait. So when I was talking shit about Tekken, that means he was responding to your just like casual commentary on Tekken, not my comments about Tekken.
Can Mangler take over the channel? Give me enough time to gather the spirit bomb, and I can. I just need all the energy of everyone in the chats. Because apparently Zim wouldn't have been able to stop me because he doesn't exist, according to the chat.
Damn, I was bested in my own games. Why aren't you working on the novel? Back to the
Even a ghost would have more impact.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Back to Slave Away.
I'm sorry.
Kyle, do you mind merging his channel with yours? He doesn't have the staying power. He's too Australian.
Form the fusion dance.
What Ensenadas you have? Okay, Alan, holy shit, this explains a lot. Alan, what the fuck are you asking? Is that an English or Spanish word? Oh my goodness! So they didn't hear anything. I'm just gonna so much commentary just gone.
I'll just say, as far as God of War Ragnarok, I am not going to speak on it until after the 2 weeks has passed. However, if you want to ask them, I mean, they're free to answer.
By the way, I remember you saying Kratos now has a weakness, soul manipulation. Why is that? Well, I mean, I would argue he always I mean,
definitely always did.
Yeah, I would say he always had weakness to soul manipulation. However, specifically regarding Ragnarok, what?
I was gonna say that was confirmed. That was confirmed in God of War 3. Like you can argue he could resist soul manipulation, but you could still attempt to rip his soul out. So if you were physically stronger than him, you could just take his soul.
Yes, but now it's beyond damning.
Oh, Mangler, someone's asking what you have on your weapon.
What do I have on my weapon? You mean what's causing the ice nonsense? I believe it is referred to as Lifebane.
No,
Yes.
all I'll say is so what happened in Ragnarok is Ragnarok revealed that the soul's broken up into 4 parts. And Mangler, why are you white? That's an excellent question, Pim Demon. But
I do not know.
so apparently the soul's broke up into 4 parts. So if you you gonna finish first?
I was just gonna say the description basically reads that Argol had a lot of things he was interested in. One such distraction of his was the creation of this deadly weapon. It pleased Argol to have a monstrous worm imbue the scythe with the essence of his own source of power, the stealing chill of the abyss. So technically, this means that Death has access to a weapon that uses the power of the Abyss, and the power of the Abyss, I believe, goes beyond. There are some statements where going beyond like sub-zero temperatures, but it can also affect people on the soul. So according to the Abomination Vault in Darksiders, if you have a temperature, if you're able to affect someone with Hellfire, that is considered, at least according to War's perceptions, to be temperature that exists beyond any sort of physical temperature. I mean, any temperature that can affect the soul exists beyond what you can calculate with standard math. So that would mean anything too cold enough or hot enough to affect the soul already exists beyond things on like the temperature scale. So things like absolute zero, highest forms of like heat, whatnot, like magma, what have you. Plus, it also steals your life. Plus, it's also from the abyss, which means it has like non-existent properties and things of void manipulation and what have you.
All right.
So that explains why I can like freeze people in gameplay.
Anyways, So Kratos has his soul broken up into 4 parts, which means that if you were to damage his soul and he loses one of those 4 parts, you can severely cripple his combative capabilities.
All right, here we go. Try and knock this up there.
So yeah, basically, Kratos kind of gets screwed over in that regard.
I didn't know you could detonate the Shadow Ball on the other side.
Can
Pretty
Kratos
good.
beat Bayonetta?
No.
So, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Just as a heads up for the channel, if we do Kratos versus anybody, it's not gonna be versus Dante. It's gonna be versus Bayonetta, or it's gonna be versus someone in the Bayonetta verse. It's not gonna be versus Dante. Now you might think to yourself, Zim, why are you doing that? I'm going to throw them at each other. Instead of people saying I'm biased towards DMC, they have to argue I'm biased towards Bayonetta, and that has massive amounts of inconsistencies of evidence.
Also, the protagonist swap summary video kind of already explains why like there's no point in throwing Dante against him, because we already proved that the strongest version of Kratos with the highest possible length scaling set and his best arguments loses to the weakest version of Dante without POC. He loses to the weakest version of a demon in DMC3 without POC. So there's no. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say extra context. He's talking about God of War 3.
Yes.
Well, now hang on a minute, Mangler. That sounds like a Ragnarok spoiler!
I'm saying it doesn't really matter how much we try to talk about it. Like if I put like 5 to 10, more like 50 to 100 more scans, people are still gonna say that like I'm somehow biased in favor of Dante, even though I have an enormous amount of empirical evidence to prove my case, and they have none.
Alan's saying go right.
Go right?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, is he saying like in the game? Oh wait, actually, hang on.
Okay,
I have an idea.
You are biased against everything but horny Zim. Don't lie to us. That's not true. That's not possible.
There you go. It was the truth.
No.
What?
Kyle, do you take the Supreme Hunter statement about surviving nuke at face value?
He's basically implying that he could survive it. I'm not saying he could tank it, but he could definitely regenerate from it. So you kind of have to, because he's not dumb. He's as smart, if not like slightly as unintelligent as like Alex. Because like he's literally he absorbed Cross. Cross would know this final solution, so he would have the knowledge of like the yield of the bomb.
Kratos make Bayonetta cry.
No,
I mean,
not
like,
even remotely true.
maybe if he insults
Almost
her
every,
hair.
From laughter?
almost everything in his arsenal directly counters. Almost everything in her arsenal directly counters his.
Even if it remains unfair, is Tony still the closest to fair Dante to put it against Kratos?
Well, yeah, because he's the weakest Dante, but like,
The humility.
I mean,
Apparently,
I guess it is. I guess it is fairer to send an elephant against an ant than it is to send the United States Army against an ant. But like, it's still an ant.
But the ant's trained in martial arts, so it beats the elephant.
Oh yeah, you're right. My mistake.
1A Bayo win.
The elephant clearly came to the wrong
Actually,
fight.
what is Bayonetta being upgraded to on VSB? Because there's no way they haven't tried to upgrade her somehow since Bayonetta.
They're trying to upgrade her to 5D right now.
That sounds about right.
Especially if you go by VSB standards, they believe she has immeasurable speed. They don't believe Kratos has immeasurable speed. And there's no scenario where Kratos beats a character that has like superior speed to him.
But what if hear me out. What if he uses the power of hope?
Oh yeah.
You know,
He is going to need hope.
the power of hope. Because there's
Wait.
not a statement in Ragnarok that ruins my hopes and dreams. No, that'd be ridiculous.
Hey, how do I get this open?
The power of hope's still alive, boys.
Kyle, how do I get this floodgate open?
It's alive in our hearts.
Hold on a sec. Let me check YouTube. Sit still.
Wait. I think I did it.
You mean you flipped the switch? The switch that
No,
wasn't even
no,
trying to hide it?
Oh yeah.
No, but God of War Ragnarok, unironic, didn't the power of hope become useless with Ragnarok? Shut the fuck up, Sparta! No one fucking cares about your opinion!
1A be a win. How is flipping the switch the wrong way a skill issue?
Because you didn't flip
Isn't
it
that a
the right way.
direction? Isn't that a directional issue?
No.
You have to find a bomb? Well, usually these puzzles are solved with a bomb, I agree, but, like, I don't have any fresh corruption. Oh, wait, fuck. Never mind. Hang on, I got it. I didn't use this thing called my eyeballs.
Skill issue. Unironically, though, fucking, all Ragnarok really did for Kratos, besides potentially kill the cosmology, was give him the most weaknesses and confirmation of weaknesses I have ever seen.
And did nothing but basically beat into the ground.
Oh,
That his peak was literally God of War 3.
Yep.
So that's why the floodgate wouldn't open. It's because the corruption crystal. So that when the floodgate has to open, it rises to the ceiling, which is where the corruption crystal is. So if you don't remove it, it can't like rise. So you don't get the water flow. Okay. Never mind, Kyle.
Also,
Sorry.
Jeremy, I believe you mentioned Hawkman versus Link on last stream. That would be too much of a pain in the ass to do. It's a thematically good matchup, it is, but I would rather just not touch that with a 10-foot pole. Mangler, DMC2, Dante sharing same eye vision? Nah. Nah,
Did you say
but
what?
nah, just some DMC2 slander. Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, sorry. Like, the matchup sounds good on paper. I remember Neil talked about it last time. I think you mentioned it last time as well. But fuck me, I fucking hate Nintendo's characters for scaling purposes. Because you're not scaling one Nintendo character. You're scaling 30 different versions of one character. And it's...
And you're putting out that dollar too, because you got to buy a Switch to scale them.
Yeah, and
Or every.
Fuck,
Wait,
no.
wait, what matchup?
Link versus Hawkman. Also, PlayStation All-Stars is canon to God of War, by the way. Not quite.
No, it's actually not. And if you're going to argue that, I want you to retroactively argue that every PlayStation character in that game is automatically multiversal. So give me my multiversal Nathan Drake, because you can't just argue it for God of War.
So what I was going to say to that one. So, The reference it's a tongue-in-cheek reference to All Stars. It's absolutely a reference to All Stars. The problem is that it's not specific enough to where you can take legal action. That's where the important thing kicks in. Because the problem is that what Mir says is, and also for those of you, look, is it worth the sacrifice? El Dante Cusa gets, the Demons gets buffed? Or just use Immortals Capcom Dante? No. Because if you argue PlayStation All-Stars is canon, you're arguing the weakest version of Dante we have in every capacity is on par, if not greater, than God of War 5 Kratos.
I'll just be clear here. If you argue that, you unironically just confirm the Beast Heads kills the entirety of the All-Stars. Because if you're arguing that reboot Dante, by virtue of that, like, if Kratos can fight a version of Dante that exists in the DMC multiverse, you're arguing the weakest version that exists in the multiverse that we know of can still beat the strongest version. You literally just provided a case of, like, blatant power creep.
It's not exciting.
You also
actually, I'm gonna say my piece on this one as well. If you're gonna go that route, then I'm absolutely going to say that Ratchet is the strongest PlayStation character to exist, because you've now put God of War in the same, like, infinite multiverse that was collapsing during Rift Apart, which is just the PlayStation Omniverse, as confirmed by the Dimensionator.
I believe.
So congratulations. Ratchet solos God of War, and I have a canonical argument for it.
Looks at well, 10%.
To be fair, technically he kind of already did, because he had a better arsenal and better weapons.
A canonical argument where I don't have to use power scaling.
Suck a dick. Anyways, or just Immortals Capcom Dante, yeah. Hashirama Cells versus Odahime Healing. I don't know why it's even a question. Odahime's healing is way better.
Who's healing versus what?
Hashirama Cells versus Odahime's healing.
Oh, so that's like, I've got good healing in cells versus the ability to reverse effects and phenomenon. Like,
that's a tough call, guys. Close one.
I don't know, to reject things in a way that defies even, like, time and space, or some really good cells. That's a difficult one.
Anyways, Adachi Beats, though, Persona 4 is PlayStation exclusive. It's official, Raiden is the strongest Metal Gear character.
I was going to say, that doesn't even make sense by the context of, like...
Actually, that's something to say as well, is that if you're going to argue All Stars is canon, welcome to the world of multiversal Metal Gear characters.
And Uncharted characters, and Bioshock characters, and Killzone characters, and...
Well, the biggest reason why I'll bring up Nathan Drake is because, objectively, he should be the weakest character on that roster.
He's literally just
Looks
like your vaguely
Needles
superhuman
Kane.
character. I was gonna say he's like your vaguely superhuman character that can be killed by bullets of like other vaguely superhuman and normal human characters. Like, given this logic, we unironically have to argue every single character that's ever gotten into a gunfight with Nathan Drake is like uni or higher, which is not only breaks the scaling of any of those verses, it's not substantiated by any lore at all.
Okay.
And then this just becomes a giant rabbit hole that expands into every single character on the roster, just because someone wants Kratos to have an upgrade.
Yeah, and congratulations, there is now a multiversal Paul McGrath.
Yeah, so just to summarize here for a moment, though, there was a statement, I believe, from one of the developers. I don't know if they said Zeus could do it. They said that Kratos could beat Polygon Man in a fight. But this was, I think, before even God of War. I think this was after God of War 3 dropped, before God of War 4 came out. I think it was like back when all sorts of an actual thing. You know,
I was also going to say this without mentioning that what you would need to confirm this would be either a statement from Sony, just to be fair, because they own all the properties in question.
No, they don't.
Well,
because they
actually,
don't own DMC, they don't own Bioshocks.
I was going to say, I said actually, I was going to correct myself. They own all the PlayStation characters on the roster. Unfortunately, there are several people on the roster that do not belong to PlayStation franchises, and PlayStation does not have the right to answer a question in relation to that.
I don't
again,
even know if they own Fat Princess specifically. I mean, I guess it was published by Sony. If you want to include that,
they probably don't now. And furthermore,
what you need is either somebody who worked on the game or the director of the game to confirm that, because Santa Monica does not have the authority.
though I don't see the logic here. Would be just canon the God of War to nothing else. Okay, so
that's not how that works.
So the problem here is, if you argue it's just canon the God of War, then you now have to essentially argue that we can't use anything from the other IPs than just what's in the game themselves, and that's it. So, like, you don't say, like...
And that doesn't even work, because Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart literally shows that the PlayStation has an omniverse.
I was gonna say they in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, you can literally summon Jack and Daxter and I believe Sly Cooper and whatnot into your game.
You can summon stuff from Uncharted, from a whole bunch of different IPs,
and that's in an official canon continuity within the main games of Ratchet and Clank. This is within a spin-off.
That's why I say, if you unironically argue All-Stars is canon, I can unironically argue that the Dimensionator was deleting the God of War universe.
Pretty sure events being canon to one series is a known trope.
It can't be affecting the entirety of the other roster.
It also doesn't work when major portions of the roster aren't owned by the person making the game either.
Even if you believe it's still canon, Kyle's Ratchet and Clank statement should still stand. Also, that's also supported technically by a Twitter statement because the developers of Santa Monica played along with the idea that they were in the same multiverse as Ratchet and Clank.
Why is it taking me so much time to get out of this room?
Well, according to Alan, you keep going in a giant circle. He keeps deleting his message.
Obviously, I keep going in a giant circle.
Also, regarding Needles Kane for a moment, I'm referring to Needles Kane by himself, not with his fucking mech suit. The mech suit's called Sweet Tooth. Does that mean DMC Rex Sony?
Oh.
Well, that depends on how you want to stretch Polygon Man's... Kyle, what the fuck do you just say O2?
Well, so if you...
I just figured out what the difference was.
Between what? Answer the fucking question.
Why he was called Sweet Tooth?
God, I hate you sometimes.
I don't play Twisted Metal.
Technically, it if we use this logic, it does mean yes, all Sony properties do technically get wrecked by DMC because so the issue is that DMC's reboot does have at least one, if not two, statements that a statement from Insuno that it is an actual continuation of the franchise. The reboot is a continuation of the franchise in the universe. Not in the same universe, but in the DMC universe as a whole, referring to multiverse. And it's not intended to be a replacement. And then we have another statement from another article that confirms it takes place in a parallel universe, a parallel world of the mainline DMC universe.
I think it just brings in the question that it depends on what you think of Polygon Man and what you think of fucking, well, other multiversal shenanigans going on, because I don't know what Polygon Man statements are per se. 90 Ratchet and Clank. Can it be Adachi though? Well, it depends on where you scale Adachi. You could be Kyle and scale Adachi to city level like a fucking degenerate.
Scaling the city level?
I was just gonna say that technically if we give them this logic, every the beast heads, technically things that could be as powerful as that, are able to scale to the totality of all of PlayStation's franchises put together. And that's not even the top of the DMC roster.
I'm just gonna say that it's a reference to All Stars certainly. However, in canon, it would not be. Also, did you guys check out some of the new PLC stuff? You keep saying there's new PLC stuff aside.
Fetty, I don't believe that was new. I think like that was just kind of what Sebel said. It's just like I believe it's the same cutscenes. It just is confirmed that like Pluto's behind the events, POC, which we kind of knew because he was
Gameplay,
doing shenanigans.
yeah, they fucking they added character swapping to the game.
Oh, that yeah. Whoa.
I wish they would just give an official like response if they're ever gonna release that game to like fucking other like more Western markets, or if it's just gonna be stuck in like China forever.
So like the go back to the original like topic. So I really don't know how any other way to put this as well. When you actually look at Kratos' response, he gives a non-answer.
Not exactly new stuff, but the whole forging claims got wrecked hard. Yeah, Kyle's right. He does give a non-answer, and also you're right, Hasai. But then again, the whole argument for the whole forging of like scans was only done in a last-ditch effort to, or in one of the last-ditch efforts to try and say POC wasn't relevant. And so now the argument, the meta now.
You act like they still. You act like
that
they.
goes back to the canon argument.
Yeah, I'll say no. Now the argument has gone back specifically to PLC's not canon because it's a mobile game.
Yeah,
and
which that's not gonna last long either.
It's also official that Big Daddy and ironically Little Sister is the strongest Bioshock character. When you say wait, Little Sister, why not Big Sister?
Are you referring to Subject Delta or just Big Daddies in general? Because that wouldn't even make sense. But Subject Delta would have to be the strongest one.
How about you Delta yourself a decent fucking parent?
What are you talking about?
You and I play Bioshock 2 very differently, I assume.
Did you even play? Oh wait, no, you did play Bioshock 2. That's right. The based Bioshock.
Bioshock 2 was the one that everyone either liked or hated, and then after Infinite came out, everyone was like Thanos looking back at Bioshock 2. Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
It's always the twos.
Okay, hold up. Hear me out. If PlayStation All-Star is canon and if the Dimensionator is going to destroy everything in the multiverse, won't that include the DMC multiverse? Well, so this becomes a question of how do you consider what the Dimensionator would reach and also what like Polygon Man reaches when he takes these characters out. Because by all accounts, DMC is not a part of Sony's multiverse of like possession. Subject Delta destroys Nemesis.
Whoa! The reboot's available on PlayStation and Xbox even back then.
Whoa there, Skippy. What's this about Subject Delta beating Nemesis? Whoa! Woo!
Yeah.
Getting a little crazy here, isn't it? Oh man, it's getting a little hot in here. You need to calm down with them takes, boy.
My goodness.
Woo!
I have killed him.
Let's be a little careful there now. We wouldn't want to say something ridiculous. I'll scale it. I'll scale it right fucking now. Your Big Daddy is trash. Take your plasmids and go do yourself a favor and overdose with them.
You know, overdosing plasmids isn't really a thing, right? You just become, like, insane.
Oh, I mean, if you're scoring up to Nemesis, I guess you already fit that criteria. What happened? Nothing. Just Jeremy saying something silly. That's all. Kyle didn't really say anything in response to your statement, Sparta. Just that, like, that's not really a fair claim to make because they're not owned by Sony. Man.
A significant portion of that roster isn't owned by Sony.
Yeah.
And that's funny enough. Out of the God of War scalers and power scalers who have been making that argument, they've been making that argument because Reboot Dante is on the roster. And he happens to be one of the properties that isn't owned by Sony. Which is how I know that argument isn't being made in good faith. It's not being made because they genuinely believe there's a lot of lore or anything surrounding it. There's a offhand statement in Ragnarok that's made that's intended to be an Easter egg.
Reboot DMC isn't even canon in the main
With a
timeline.
tongue-in-cheek answer.
Listen, all I'm saying is that if that's your argument, then you have one example of Kratos being multiversal, assuming you believe he scales to Polygon Man at all, and you have like thousands of examples where he scales not to that.
I'm going to say this now. You have just as much evidence, that people claim, you have just as much evidence to use that as we do to use SMT for Dante.
No, like, seriously.
God, I remember. I tried to find that Atlas statement because I know there was a statement from Atlas saying that they only call characters they think can survive in their verse. I think that's why Dante's the only guest character Atlas has actually had outside of its own IP.
They've had Bayonetta.
I mean, like their original mainstay games, not the mobile games.
Yeah. In terms of their mainstay games, they've never had any guest characters aside from Dante.
I mean, like,
well, at least no guest characters that they don't own. Oh, time to go do questing, guys. You ready to go do people's bidding?
I play the mobile game also has fucking Guts and Sonic, Kyle. You mean Sonic, the strongest character in the multiverse? Haven't you played Sonic Frontiers?
Hey Tim, I'm gonna shoot you a video. Let me know if we need this one or if it's just like not worth it.
All right, let me see. Bro, I have half a mind to scale Sonic Frontiers just for shits and giggles. I'll be all like, hey guys, look at what happens when a statement that says actually just a dimension happens. Alright, right back.
Oh yeah, I forget that the wardens are sent when the seals are broken.
This is how you do interesting lore.
That's also really good for scaling because that confirms that the Well of Souls can remake your emotions, your memories, your soul, and the foundation of your being because it has to recreate it from the bottom up to reincarnate it into another person. And this is all confirmed in the Abomination Vault. So technically, you can unironically argue that if the darksiders, or specifically if the horsemen die and the seventh seal is broken, the seventh seal, if it forces them to resurrect from the Well of Souls, they actually have a mid-godly regeneration feat or higher. That is also combat applicable, because it spawns them to the location where they're supposed to fight, or at least to where they're being summoned. Alright guys. I have not committed to Harvest. And I did play around with Aegis Shield, not on this profile, but when I was going through New Game on this file, I did Aegis Shield, and then I think I respect. And it was pretty good, but like, Actually, wait a minute. I have not tried.
Every time I go through Darksiders 2, I usually invest in ghouls and the crows. And
I've done ghouls. So you have to do Unstoppable because Unstoppable is so broken. You get so much strength. You get 20% increased crit damage, or 20% increased crit chance, 40% increased crit damage. You can buff Unstoppable's duration, and then you can also buff the chance of like second strikes. But Reaping is really good. I mean, you could always respect if you don't want to commit. What is wrong with the textures on her face? Oh yeah, if you want to learn all about the makers, just stay in the Forge Lands. I got enough dialogue to keep you here for years.
Yes, and most of it isn't just useless fluff. It's actually like lore relevant.
It technically does get referenced in what's it called? It does get referenced in the Abomination Vault, or it gets backing in the Abomination Vault, and then it gets referenced again in the Keepers of the Void DLC in Darksiders 3, because Fury, when she's running through the fire area and she runs into the
What's with this
concept.
Unisonic downplay? What's going on here?
She specifically. Oh, go ahead.
If I remember correctly, the Forge Lands have some really good statements, but it's the Land of the Dead that's like the real like magnum opus.
Well, there's good statements in each one, but like most of the ones that you need for like higher cosmology stuff comes from like the makers. The Kingdom of the Dead just helps you reconcile the afterlife.
Whenever you finish like a certain task, talk to everyone. Because I found during my last playthrough that everyone gets like new dialogue options.
They do. Well, I think they have their total dialogue options, so even if you like skip them for that moment, they still have
No, because I found with the with the elderly one that if you, depending on how far you are into a mission, it'll just close off that path and you just can't listen to it.
Oh, that's kind of stupid.
Do not tell him that. He's already having to jump through so many hoops to get all this information. Anyways, technically, I'm pretty sure Game Sonic is Uni based off fighting like Time fucking Eater or whatever.
Oh,
Solaris.
Yeah,
that's an interesting statement. Apparently, the warden that's in the realm, his dreams gave birth to this reality, specifically from their form, or their dreams specifically gave form to this area. I would have to go back and see the statement that she says, but it's pretty blatant.
You know what? I can't wait for Death Battle to finally do a Darksiders character, and
then
they're only town level.
Are you
still be higher than DSB?
I'm sorry, Kyle. Are you upset that Sauron was stated to only be island level in VSB or in Death Battle?
I haven't seen the thing for it.
Oh, well, he's island level. You're welcome.
Ew. Wait, if he's island level, how did he beat the Lich King?
Because the Lich King's also island level, apparently.
What?
Got him. The Weeping Crag.
I have not seen it yet, but are you going to want to watch it together or no?
Yeah.
Island level is new skilling. It is. Everybody gets to island level somehow. Characters who deserve it, and characters who don't deserve it. And characters who nobody can make their mind up on. Like, fuck it, send them to island level for some reason.
Deku versus fucking Ostro was the stupidest matchup they could have ever had, so that's fun.
I only understand one aspect of that, and it's not even like a complete aspect when you find out like why Asta doesn't have powers. But even then, that is such a waste. You know what it is? It's a filler match. Because they're filling in for what the season final is. No one heard this and thought Deku was going to win.
what could the season finale possibly be at this point?
Look. Well, here's the thing. Like they've already wasted their budget on the two. Like they've done SFM and they've done 3D. I can't see them doing another one of those. So, the only matchups that I can think of that are like final worthy are either Unicron versus Galactus or Marker versus Ruby.
Where is the primary?
I think I found a new form of sexuality. It's called scale sexual or debate sexual. It's when people are sexually attracted to debating or scaling. I don't think that exists. It should have been Deku versus fucking Tanjiro. That's what the matchup should have fucking been.
To Deku versus Rock Lee myself.
Rob Lee?
Yeah, Rock Lee.
Oh, Rock Lee. Didn't Rock Lee already have a matchup?
Yeah, he did
Yeah,
against
Sanji.
Sanji, and I never understood why that was ever a matchup.
Well,
Sanji should have fought Ignis.
personally, for the people asking, Tanjiro rematch, Tanjiro should not have fought Jonathan. That was a stupid matchup.
Because legs.
I mean,
Legs, Kyle.
The thematics are there.
Bro.
Nah, if anything, Deku should have gone up against Miles.
Who?
Miles Morales.
A Spider-Man matchup with... Wait, wasn't that already, isn't that what fucking G1 said?
Did G1 say that?
I think someone's referenced a Spider-Man matchup with Deku, and I think it was Miles Morales as the matchup. I still have not bothered to watch Tanjiro versus fucking Jonathan yet. I still haven't watched it. Seems like kind of a waste to watch such a massive stomp in Jonathan's favor. Or fuck, why not Luffy versus Deku? Shit, I just don't get why fucking Astra. There's nothing there.
The only thing I can think of is that they're two people who were born without power, who gain power.
Okay, was Astra actually born without power?
Yeah, he's basically the only person in his kingdom who's born without the ability to use magic.
But he has a
That's
black
why he's
sword he
able.
summons.
That's why he's able to use anti-magic.
So he's able to use magic then.
No, anti-magic is just not magic. It's the opposite of magic.
So by not having a magical power, he has gained something that you would consider a magical power.
He's become one with the anti-meta.
That's basically the way to look at him. He is the Black Clover anti-meta.
Look, I understand it's not magic, but so you're telling me by not having the standard energy source, he just got a new energy source?
Yes.
These are not comparable situations.
What if I told you that anti-magic doesn't even come from the human universe? It comes from hell.
Of course it does.
Does it counter standard magic?
It counts as every magic. And
Oh yeah.
actually,
Well,
even other powers that aren't even magic.
Of course it does.
And that's anti-meta then.
So then you're telling me that fucking Astra's probably gonna win this then?
There's no debate here. Like, Deku is massively hypersonic, if not lightning level at best.
No.
Asta
Light
is
speed.
FTL plus to massively faster than light.
Lies. Deceptions.
Asta's been faster than light since I forgot what arc this is, but it's basically the arc where he first meets Gauche.
It's okay.
And he can casually dodge Gosha's like beams of light that come from his mirror.
It's okay. Deku's faster in light too. He can dodge his fucking classmate's laser. Easy.
That's still infinitely slower than he's literally outsped people who have like blitzed who's blitzed Partry's light attacks, which are literally just beams of light. And this is without him transforming into Black Asta.
He turns black?
He absorbs anti-magic into himself, so basically, if powers try and touch him, he can basically just null powers without using any of his swords.
How does this guy lose a fight? Ever?
It's usually due to people, like, not using magic, or if he ever does lose. It's very rare he ever does lose.
So he should never lose ever in this world, what you're telling me.
Yeah, Samaj just reminded me. Basically, the only time he ever loses is to people who have demons of their own. Other magic users can't touch him. You have to have a demon.
Okay, that's at least somewhat reasonable. Hi guys, I'm the main character in the magical world, and here's my secret weapon, the ability to nullify all powers with ease.
I'm gonna laugh if they say that, like, anti-magic just negs, like, one for all for one, or one for all? All for one for all.
It shouldn't.
I hate the naming system of that, because it confuses the fuck out of me, those two.
One for all and all for one?
I'd have to scale Black Clover, but I'm pretty sure they're comparable in speed, but Fairy Tail has higher AP and they're not reliant on just their magic. Azra, have you even seen Fairy Tail, or are you just like jumping on the fucking bandwagon?
This is not the way I was supposed to go. But I'll take it.
Doesn't going down those stairs lead you to Bay here?
Yeah, I don't have any of the things I need to actually kill him. But we're just gonna ignore him.
She's not that hard to beat.
Well, I can't get over there. You need the death grip to cross to the platform, otherwise you just...
Oh, actually, I think an easier... It's a shame you didn't, like, put anything into teleportation slash, because that hard negs her entire fighting style.
I would, but, like, my crit damage is so high. I don't even need to put anything else.
So you've seen the first season, like, over a decade ago. So what you're telling me is you saw a handful of episodes over a decade ago, and you haven't changed your opinion since. Yeah, I'm sorry, my dude. I can't take that opinion seriously. Dude, there are things that I didn't like 10 years ago. Fuck, there are things I didn't like 3 years ago that I like now.
It's because you're a basic bitch.
Oh no, Jeremy, make no mistake. Like, Death Battle have officially said, like, because of Fire Force, they waited too long to do Ruby vs. Marker, because Fire Force completely fucking, like, upgrades the crap out of Soul Eater.
Not like they really care about these things. They literally fucking... I think, what, Ruby characters have had... No, just one loss.
Okay, so Azra, I know it's your 2 cents, but your 2 cents is literally over a decade old. That's a pretty old 2 cents.
Can we get it down here? Okay, here we go.
What level are Soul Eater on now?
Unironically, you could argue anywhere between, like, Uni Plus, maybe I've heard multiversal stuff, but I think Uni Plus is pretty good.
Wank. He's a wanker. Don't
I
listen.
have been called that, but
happen,
not
though.
in that context.
Don't
You're funny.
listen to him. He deceives you. I never gave Black Clover a try. Stop losing a no-nut November. Kyle never attempted that journey.
I think it's
Here we
stupid.
go.
Stop wanking. Adola versus Zim? What the fuck is Adola verse?
It means a dollar burst. It's basically the power that they have in Fire Force.
Yeah, I just wasn't a fan of Black Clover's art style, and then I just never gave it a try, so I just never really talked about it.
I would have laughed if that rolled straight off.
I would have been so upset. I worked so hard to get it up here. I'm not going back down there doing it again.
You just hear you just hear the character model just groan.
Ugh. War wouldn't put up with this.
I tried so hard and got so far.
Wait, why is there a spawner out here?
And for the most part on this channel, I don't stream anime or manga. Vista and Lord Star is kind of an exception.
Yes, Azra, I understand that. The problem is, yours is over a decade old. It's outdated as fuck. If you were a software update, no one would ever want to use you.
Oddly specific. All I know
That's
about
kinda
Fairy
fucked that I
Tail
can use.
is that it had a bunch of characters who were highly sought over in the fan base due to sexualization, and that's about it. Also, and something about the power of friendship and eating fire.
Okay, when people say like, oh, but the power of friendship, it's like, dude, fuck off. Like, all of the other shonen series don't have that just as much.
I don't know,
That's literally what Shonen is.
after seeing the 4Kids dub for Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm pretty convinced that the power of friendship is nowhere near as bad in other animes as people make it out to be, because it is nowhere near as blatant as it is in the 4Kids dub. Holy fuck. Heya is not insufferable, but oh my god. She probably puts friendship as like one quarter of the speeches that actually no. Like 90% of the speeches she gives, one quarter of the actual words that come out of her mouth are like friendship, helping friends, caring about other people.
I
like, I
you
get
think
it.
the abridged series was making a joke about that?
So,
They made
Jeremy,
a joke about that, but that wasn't really like a joke. That was just a fact.
Jeremy, can you reword that? I think that's worded really weird.
Also, there are some lines that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge pulls from that I don't know if they realize they're directly quoting, because they do say, like, oh, sometimes here's the actual 4Kids dub, but I don't think they realize that there's points where they literally say the actual 4Kids dub. So, for example, when, let's give an example. When Serenity is recovering from her eye surgery after the events of Duelist Kingdom, and, Tristan goes over there, and Joey's, like, mad about it, because, like, hey, I told you to stay away from my sister. And then Serenity's just like, hey, you told me Tristan told you all you know about duel monsters? I'm like, what the fuck? I thought that was an abridged line. And yeah, no, he actually says like stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
know.
funny.
I don't know if my thing cut out beforehand. But Jeremy, can you reword that, please? That doesn't make any sense to me.
It does not compute.
Speaking of Black Clover, It's kind of sad that Black Clover could have had the quality of Chainsaw Man if Studio Perry gave the director some time. I would just argue Chainsaw Man has better artwork.
How is this no place for a horse? This is the perfect place for a horse. This is an open grazing area.
Okay, so the difference between that is that I'm going to tell you this now. I would be the worst person to borrow money from because I would be on your ass the second I know when your payday is.
You could almost feel the second someone said that to Kyle, that like he was just going Super Saiyan.
No, I give you 2 weeks, and I've done this to someone. I'll give you 2 weeks. If you still try and like dodge me and refuse to give me my money, I will show up in person, and I will start threatening you. If I don't get it then, I'll just actually start taking shit so I can sell it and get my money back.
I will usually give you 2 weeks notice, and then at that point I'll start spamming you.
Oh no, because like I hate being in debt, and I hate people being in debt to me. I am hyper aggressive to get my money back, and I give people this warning before they like borrow it. I've even told this to family.
Kyle's just like, here's $2. I want it back by the end of the week.
Oh, I know someone at school. To the cent how much they still owe me. They still owe me 23 cents. So I bought them something on an excursion like 15 years ago.
Boy said I'm the government. That's basically what Kyle's saying. I'm the IRS. Guys, we now have the physical embodiment of taxation. Don't let them borrow it. Problem solved.
Yes, but here's the thing. It's called hindsight. Because usually if I give people this warning and they still think it's okay, I expect my money back. The problems happen when they think that they can dodge me.
I feel like you're a little too... Okay, so like, is there like no amount where you will not like hound someone down for it?
No, you don't get a pass.
So if I were to ask you to lend me a fucking $1, you would fucking come after me for $1?
Yes, and I would look at you and I would say, you're lucky I'm not charging fucking interest by the fucking day.
How much interest would you even charge?
If I'm giving it to friends, I tell them it's basically like 0.5%.
Why? I'm gonna be honest right here. Like, I don't think you have any right to be charging interest on someone unless you need that money to be surviving.
I need it.
You need $1.
I pay rent. I pay over $100 in petrol a week.
Okay, so hang on. Does Australia even legally allow you to charge interest on like payments under like $20?
Oh, they don't. But I hit them with the classic, I know where you live. And because I'm not dumb, I will say it in person, not over a text.
Man, let it be known here, Kyle's just a straight up loan shark. The only difference between a loan shark and Kyle is a loan shark actually makes money off of it. Kyle just takes pleasure out of it. To be fair, $1 is 4 packs of ramen. Bro, where are you buying 4 packs of ramen for $1? I want to go to the store you're at.
I want that deal.
I want that store.
I'll take that. That does sound. That's probably going to be some bad ramen, but I'll still.
I like
$1.
That sounds like a very reasonable, fair price.
No, it's just like your typical package of ramen. I believe like your standard box is usually anywhere around 20 packs or so. So like, what is that, like $1? It's like $5, a little bit of tax for fucking standard pack. Like, I'm pretty sure standard pack is like 12 or 15.
Hang on, you get taxed for food in Texas?
I believe, yeah. Well, sales tax, more specifically.
Yeah, no, you get sales tax for fucking, like, in Texas. That's kind of fucked for food.
Well, yeah, sales tax still exists.
No, in California, food is not taxed at all.
Oh, that must be nice.
Well, it kind of is, but it's also not because we pay a higher tax rate than the entire country.
I mean, that's fair. You produce the highest GDP.
The homeless people on the street would beg to differ.
Maybe it should be changed approximately according to your. Well, I mean, I guess it is, but like on average, it's a little bit higher.
To be fair, so Kyle Stewie Griffin when Brian owed him cash. Yeah.
Where's my money, bitch? Give me my money.
You got money to afford fake mustaches? Where's my money?
All right, Zim, are you ready to do some Halo Infinite?
Almost. Give me like 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes for me to kick ass. Food. No. I really thought I was going to make that. Oh, that's just sad. Oh. Thank God I remember most of these puzzles.
Yeah, just wait till you get to the second Maryland. Fucking hurt your head.
As long as that's optional content, I don't have to worry about it.
It's not optional.
All right with Venom spoilers? Venom spoilers? What do you mean? I don't recall there being a Venom movie. Wait a minute. Where is the... Isn't there like a... Huh. Guess not. You know, I'm going to love doing Darksiders 2's Crucible, because I can actually level up in that one. Wait a minute. Can I bring him over there? No, there's definitely a... There's for sure a, what's it called? A bridge here. See if I can get this up. That would be important. Hmm. Oh, wait. I just don't have eyes. Understandable. Have a nice day. From the Marvel Comics? Kinda. I mean, I haven't really been keeping up with Venom. The last thing I was, be honest, Jeremy, the last thing I was keeping up with was X-Men versus Fantastic Four versus Eternals Judgment Day, which was a really good comic line. That one was kind of a little bit emotional, to be honest. Nothing quite like a three-way battle to the death with like three of the most iconic Marvel factions. I guess not a three, but more like a 2-on-1. If I ever had to buy a comic line modern, I would probably buy that one. That one was actually pretty solid. When you say Venom spoilers, are you referring to King in Black? I think everybody's seen King in Black, or is it like the new age Venom after Eddie Brock has already left? Because I don't think I've seen anything after King in Black with Noel the Symbiote God. All right, let's keep moving. That was something. Yeah,
I'm
the
still.
new age. Go ahead, Zim. Or not Zim, Kyle.
No, I'm answering Azra.
Oh, God. What's wrong with my throat? Whew. I still love that they kept the execution mechanics in the game and just simply dropped them to an extremely low percentage, but gave you items and equipment that could allow you to buff the chance up to like 20 or 30%, and then buff it further with other items and abilities. So if you want to play the game like Darksiders 1, you can play the game like Darksiders 1 if you find the right items. And of course, it technically breaks a little bit of the balance of the game because it allows you to skip past. I was gonna say, if you guys ever actually have any problems or glitches with the levels, this is one of the games that you can actually play while severely underleveled if you have access to crit builds or execution builds, because you can technically just hit enemies within a certain range and then just decide like, hey, I'm just gonna kill you, even though my damage output is, statistically speaking, is like vastly lower than where you currently are located. Because crits or whatever. Wait, what if I
Put the bomb on the ball.
don't want to be the ball? What if? Wait.
If you chuck the. Yes, but that works if you're behind the fence.
I mean, I just need the key. Right, I should be close to the end of the dungeon now. I was also going to say now I remember what this game did better than Legend of Zelda. Not so many key item chests. So almost all the time that you get a key item in this game, it's mainly the skeleton key that you're looking for, though you can get the dungeon map. And it's usually pretty easy and reliable to find. It's not like difficult to get your hands on. Whereas in Legend of Zelda, it's almost always the case that you'll find two key item chests first with the compass and the dungeon map before you even get to like the boss key, or even sometimes like a big boss key, depending on the Zelda game that you're playing. So you could have as many as two, well, at least three chests, maybe four chests, depending on what you're dealing with. Which is like, that makes a map like a lot less accessible, I would say, from a gameplay standpoint. That and how over reliant the game was on like lock on to fight people. Which wasn't a problem if you had like the first 3D Zelda games with like Ocarina and Majora's Mask, but after a while, it's like, come on, you haven't designed or changed the game to have a different system. That's a little silly. Apparently, Wells Fargo got caught laundering money for a cartel. Whoa! I mean, I knew they were scamming people for millions of dollars, billions of dollars, but like that, I don't remember them being involved in the drug business. That's true. That seems kind of out of left field. I usually when like banks are corrupt, they're just usually fucking stealing people's money, but it's not usually for drug lords.
Just to answer no. No, it wasn't. The PlayStation All Stars comment is not supposed, or statement is not supposed to be covering the game. It's just a fun reference. And what Kratos gives you is a non-answer.
And this time I will get the Abyssal Armor.
Fuck.
So the thing that I would have preferred in those games, which was done a little bit better in Darksiders, is that if you're going to put the dungeon map, just do what Darksiders does, where it puts the dungeon map after you get the keys, so you can access more of the dungeon off the bat. So it gives you a lot more freedom, rather than giving you the map at first, which isn't really like that relevant, because Darksiders can still get you like a general map layout, but it doesn't give you like key item locations and stuff like that. Which to me feels like just an excuse for a developer to pad Lake, basically. What are you doing? Go back. Go back.
Okay, I'm back. Fuck me. Oh, son of a bitch. Mangler, can you hear me?
Yes.
Are you done with your whatever it is you're doing?
Not at the boat.
Do you want to finish that first?
Probably.
Okay.
Most likely.
Oh, son of a bitch. So for
My crit damage is a little too high.
So for context, for those of you who don't know, I've kind of mentioned this before on the stream like once or twice, but like I have like a pretty nervous bladder. So like for the past hour and a half, I've just been standing by my computer, using the restroom every now and again.
Slowly dying, as we say.
Well, I don't even think it's a fucking nervous bladder at this point. I'm pretty sure the problem lies like closer to the surface, so to speak. Unfortunately, you tell a doctor that, and the doctor's like, listen, I can give you something to try and help, but it could be way worse.
You're just like, I've been suffering defeat after defeat. My body is reaching its limit.
No, it's one of the strangest things. It literally only causes a problem if I just let it out. Because I don't know if Kyle's mentioned this. I'm practically the Sahara Desert. I don't drink. I don't get any fucking water in my system half the time.
Are you just always dehydrated?
I mean, if this is what it feels like to be dehydrated, then yeah, I guess. I guess my normal state of being is just being constantly dehydrated.
I'm gonna take a guess here.
even if you're dehydrated, because you're so dehydrated, you're still like urinating a lot because your body's trying to get rid of all the salt it can, and that's all you fucking do is eat salt.
That's entirely
You're
possible.
so-
Your body's becoming acidic. You need to balance your pH by drinking more water.
Yeah, because dude, I know it sounds weird. Drink more water, you'll literally like piss less, because your body is trying to regulate its salt content. Because all you do is eat salty shit. Your sodium levels are off the charts.
If you just drink a lot of water with that, y'all should be very healthy because you already drink a massive amount of salt, so you just have to drink a massive amount of water to balance it out.
Man, I should start getting those like gallon water things.
Yeah, just drink like a bottle here, a bottle there, and you'll be fine. Like, because right now your pH, like the actual like chemical like base of like chemical average of your like salt water concentration is probably leaning far more acidic right now, which is not good for your health.
Probably.
It's not like okay. When I say it's not poisonous, I mean in like the sense that like your body's not like breaking down, but if it is acidic, it's kind of like a volatile reaction. Your body doesn't know how to react, so it just forces you to discharge.
That's probably what's going on. Yeah, I should probably start drinking significantly more amounts of water.
Whereas I'm not too familiar what happens when you drink too much water but not enough salt, but I believe there is a similar
Well, don't worry.
reaction
My
in the
entire
body.
meal consists of white rice with low sodium soy sauce, but I don't know if you've seen soy sauce's sodium count. I don't even think low sodium exists in their language. And
I don't
also
drink soy
some
sauce.
frozen chicken nuggets or frozen chicken tenders or sometimes some fish cooked in butter.
Very high in salt.
Yeah, all of these items very high in salt, and I mean probably like the highest like they. Well, the problem is I don't even eat that much regardless of them. It's just I guess I just don't balance it out with water at all. So because like I think I've told you, I don't know if I told you this, Mangler, but I told Kyle this. The only water I usually drink in a day that's not like sparkling water full of potassium is literally just one water bottle at night.
The problem is it doesn't matter how much of those foods you're having. The problem is that your body is storing that shit away. And because you're not drinking water, it has no way to get rid of it.
No, I lose like 0.5 pounds of weight a day. Which probably isn't healthy, now that I think about it. I've acquired a healthy weight goal by being somehow unhealthy. Low sodium only affects flavor. It would still have some. I'm going to be honest. I much rather prefer low sodium soy sauce to sodium soy sauce. Dude, eating regular soy sauce feels like I'm just grabbing a fucking giant handful of salt and just rubbing it on my fucking tongue. So, soy sauce that isn't low in sodium was the grossest thing I've ever fucking had in a while. Because I tried it a while back. Because Panda Express, I don't know if Australia has Panda Express. Panda Express is I guess it's technically a fast food joint, but it's not quite standard fast food, if that makes sense. They cook their ingredients from frozen products, but they do cook it like completely in front of you, and they do use a wok and everything. So it's basically like if I were to take frozen vegetables and shit at home and cook it there.
That's every Chinese restaurant ever.
Yeah, but this one's meant to be more fast food based, so it's like I don't know if like it's technically more unhealthy than regular fast food Chinese food.
That's every Chinese restaurant ever.
So then no, okay. Yeah, so I tried their soy sauce packet because they have like a packet of soy sauce, and it was just the grossest thing I've ever had in my life. I was like, holy shit, this feels like pure pain.
Alright. Sam, are you ready to embark on a journey?
All right, let's see if it works. What